Hello, this is Bahman Karimi. I'm an assigned teacher for this course, MCR2U, Functions Grade 11. I'm going to start off with a brief introduction about this course. This course includes 4 units. Unit 1 is going to be about characteristics of functions, which covers chapter 1, 2, 3 from Nelson. Unit 2 is going to talk about exponential functions, which covers chapter 4. And then unit 3, we're going to talk about discrete functions, which covers chapter 7 and 8. And we end up with unit 4, which is about trigonometric function, which covers chapter 5 and 6. You will require to submit all your work, assessment, presentation project through online. 70% of the mark is devoted to term work and 30% is devoted to final exam. If you have any concern about this course, please don't hesitate to contact me via email as provided for you during this course. Now, I'm going to have a quick review about lesson 1, and then we're going to. As I said, this course is functions. M.Sc. Teacher is Bahman Karimi. We're going to cover unit 1. Characteristics of function. Characteristics of functions. Unit 2 is about exponential function. Unit 3 is about discrete functions. Unit 4 is about trigonometric function. Resource for this course is Nelson. I prefer you study Nelson. Grade 11. How we evaluate this course? We're going to have in here 70% of the mark. 70% of the mark is going to through term work. 30% is going to be through final exam. For each unit, you will have presentation. Let's start off with assignments. Project and presentation. Assessment of observation conversation. And unit test. This is how we structure this course. Now, I'm going to talk about lesson 1. We're going to talk about functions, and then we're going to cover parent functions. What is function? What is relation? Definition of. Before we move further, always I like to learn about learning goals, and success criteria. I like all my students know about learning goals and success criteria about each course. Learning goals, here, definition of. Relation and function. Domain. Range. And parent functions. Success criteria, I'm writing as a student language. I can define function. I can determine domain and range. Range of a function. Okay. These are all we want to cover through this session. Now, I'm going to start off with relation. First of all, you need to know, we deal always with two quantities. We deal with x and y. What is relation? For instance, you have x squared plus y squared equal 9. This is a relation between x and y. By changing x values, results in changing y values. This is a relation. From here, for instance, y squared is going to be 9 minus x2, and then y is going to be plus minus 9 minus x2. For instance, if I assign 0 for x, then for x0, we're going to have y plus minus root 9, which is plus minus 3. You see, for 0, you're going to have two values, 3 and 0, negative 3. This can be a set of numbers, a set of ordered pairs 0, 3, 0, negative 3. But for another relation type, like y is 2x plus 1, if I assign x2, we're going to have 2 times 2 plus 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. For x negative 1, it will be 2, negative 1 plus 1. Negative 2 plus 1, negative 1. Then, for instance, for x3, we'll have 2, 3 plus 1, 6 plus 1, 7. Then another set of ordered pairs comes with 2 and 5. Then say negative 1 and negative 1, 3 and 7. As we can see from here, 1x value for the set of B, 1x value corresponds to 1y value. We call this as a function. But in case of A, 1x value 0 corresponds to two y values. 0 corresponds to 3 and 0 corresponds to -3. Recall this is a relation. This is a function. Now that we learn definition of function, we can say function is a set of ordered pairs which no x values can relate it to two y values. After understanding definition of function, we need to learn about function notation. Because we have two values, x and y, we can relate y to x via f. We say y is f of x. Y, we read as y is function of x. Function of x. That's why we say y is f. In here, x we call independent variable. Independent variable. Y we call dependent variable. Yeah. Now, how we can test by having a graph of a function? How do we know the given graph is a function or not? I'm gonna take a look there. We have a concept as a vertical line test. Vertical line test, like this. Now, if we draw a vertical line, as you see, for graph A and for graph B, vertical line will pass through 2 points. Will cross this curve through 2 points. As you see, 1x goes to 2y. Yeah, 1x goes to 2y, y1, y2. We call fail, because for vertical line passes through 2 points. This is not a function, this is a relation. What about for graph B? In here, if we draw a vertical line, it only passes the function through only 1 point. 1x, 1y. We call this as a function. That's all. Now that we learn about function, two main concepts about function are we have to learn about domain, and also we need to know about range. Domain is set of all x values. Range is set of all y values. Okay. For instance, for this function, for yx squared, domain is gonna be x belongs to R. Range is gonna be y greater equal 0. I'm gonna have another example for you, and then I'm gonna talk about parent functions and graph of parent functions and end up first session. Lesson 1, we're gonna have 4 sessions. For each session, I'm gonna provide you with my own teaching materials. Determine domain and range of each function, Simple function. Y is, for instance, 3x plus 1. As we know, domain of this function, D is x belongs to R. R is what? R we call set of real number. Range, Y belongs to R again. Another function, for instance, we have Y x minus 4. In here, x minus 4 should be greater or equal 0, then x is greater or equal 0. Domain would be x greater or equal 0. Range, y greater or equal 0. Domain, I correct myself, x greater or equal 4, and range greater or equal 0. Now that we learn about function, we got information about domain and range, we try to understand parent functions, which are the blocks of functions in mathematics. We start off with a linear function. Its notation is y fx. It looks like this. Simplify. This is linear function. Secondly, quadratic function. We're going to have a lot of discussion about quadratic function through this course. Quadratic function. Y is x squared. I'm going to graph over here for you. And then we can take a look at square root function. Fx is root x. Three and 4. Absolute value function. Y is absolute value of x. It looks like this. And fifth, reciprocal function. Y is 1 over root x, which x can't be 0. And sixth, we are going to look at exponential functions. like y is to the power of x. And we end up with periodic function, the concept of parent function. Y sine x or cosine or y cosine x, both called periodic functions. In here, for sine x, always keep in mind, domain is between 0 and 330 degree. Range, y is between -1 and 1. Its graph looks like this. Okay. In here, let me have a better graph for you. In here 1, in here -1. And for cosine x, for one period, you will have this function. This is y cosine x. Okay, this is definition of function. We talk about domain and range. We talk about function notation, and we've gone through parent function. Now I'm going to have two examples, and then I will end up first session. For instance, evaluate fx 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 for x 2 and 3. If that's the case, all you need to do is just substitute x with 2 and 3 and then solve it for y. F 2 squared plus 3 2 minus 1. Then in here we're going to have 2 squared 4 times 2 8 plus 6 minus 1 14 minus 1 ends up with 13. And then for f3 we would come up with 2 3 squared plus 3 3 minus 1. We have 9 in here, 18 plus 9 minus 1 18, 27 minus 1 26. This is one example. Another example can be, for instance, like this. Determine y and x-intercept. Determining y, x and y-intercept. Yeah. For y is 3x minus 6. Y-intercept means x0. X0 goes for y-intercept. Then we have 3x minus 6, 0. 3x is going to be 6. X is going to be 2. And also for x-intercept, y0. For x-intercept, y0. 3x minus 6 is 0. Then for x-intercept y0, I solve it. For y-intercept x0, I did already. For y-intercept, for x-intercept, x is 0. X is 0, then it's gonna be, y is gonna be negative 6. I'm trying to correct myself. For x is 0, you're gonna get y negative 6. For y0, you're gonna get 3x minus 6, 0. X is gonna be 2. That's all for first session. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please contact me. See you later.